welcome to the tutorial for my back stretches using the wall. So for this tutorial, all you're gonna need is a mat and you're gonna need a wall space to use. I'm gonna show you guys just a couple of my favorites, not a lot, but just a few that'll kind of work stretching your backs in different ways. The first one I like to do is from a standing position, and we're gonna do it a couple different ways. We'll do two ways. This one is going to work our back, but it's also going to work through our shoulders as well, which is really useful for a lot of the back bends that we like to do. So we want to open up the back and the shoulders. So I'm going to stand about arm's length away from the wall. I'm going to place my palms shoulder height to the wall. From here, I'm going to walk my feet out and start letting my chest fall beneath my arms. Really important to make sure that your hips stay pretty stacked over your ankles, so you don't want your feet back here, but you also don't want to be in here where your butt sticks out too much. So try and find them as line as you want. I like my feet right under my hips. They're not super wide, but I'm not really close together. Just a nice comfortable position. Once we get here, we're going to start pressing our chest below our hands and below our arms. Keep your hands where they are. And this is another stretch that we're going to hold for about 30 to 45 seconds. And stretches like these, if you feel yourself go tingly in your hands and your arms, that's okay. We're just confusing our central nervous system, and that feeling will go away as soon as we release out of the stretch. If it becomes uncomfortable to you, just exit out, wiggle your arms around, put some movement back in your muscles, and then forego the stretch or jump back in if you want to. Good. So again, you'll hold this for about 30 to 45 seconds and come up nice and easy. I like to do a couple arm circles afterwards. Kind of wake those muscles back up. The next part of the stretch is a similar feeling, but this time we're going to press our chest to the wall. So we're going to take our hands out the wall as high as we can. Again, feet right under your hips, not super wide, but not super close together. And I'm going to press my chest to the wall and look up to my fingertips. Now for this one, again, check yourself, make sure your feet aren't in and your butt's sticking out, but make sure your feet aren't out and your butt's too far in. Try and get them as stacked close as you can. Once we're here, inhale to prepare, exhale, press your chest to the wall, look up, and then start letting your hands and your chest slide down like you're trying to make a shelf on your back that someone could put a whole tray of food. And you're gonna hold this one again for 30 to 45 seconds. And again, if at any point during that stretch you get that tingly feeling, it's okay. Exit out if you don't like the feeling, or stick it through, or jump back in when you're ready. So using the wall to do back bends is another good way to work on our stretches. So for this one, we're going to start with our back to the wall, feet about hip width apart, squeezing your glutes to kind of protect and take some of the pressure out of your back. We're going to start looking up to the ceiling, and we want to go fingertips up to the ceiling and into the wall. You're going to find the wall and press your hands into it. Now for some of us, this is cool right here, and this is as much as we want to do. That's fine. Stay here, come out of it, press against that wall to come out. You can take this stretch as deep as you want to. You start walking your hands down the wall and start really working on your stretches. If you're into your full back bends, you can start really thinking about your feet placement. The closer your feet are to the wall, the tougher you're going to be stretching that back. So you can take those fingertips up, find the wall, look to the wall, and start walking down. Find a good comfortable position. Adjust your feet if you need to, and walk, walk, walk. If you can find the ground, that's great. Straight arms, and then press your chest into the wall. You can squeeze those glutes to help assist you into that stretch. You can come down, tuck your chin to your chest, or you can try walking back up the wall to come out of it. So the next back stretch using the wall that we're going to work on is using a forearm stand. You should already be comfortable in your forearm stands before you work on this one. So work on those using your pole or using a wall before you start adding in the extra challenge of back bends. This is going to be a harder variation for our more bendy people. So we're going to come forward, forearms to the ground, palms to the ground, as opposed to grabbing and holding. You can do that if you want to. I prefer this way, with my palms down, my forearms down. Tuck your chin to your chest, stack your hips over your shoulders as much as you can. From here, lead with one leg, extend it over your head, and find the wall. Press your feet to the wall. Good. Keeping these legs straight, press the ground away with your arms, and start looking at your hands. We're going to start pressing our chest to the ground, letting those feet slide down to really get into that back bend. Now from this position, you can increase your stretch by walking your hands away from the wall a little bit further, and that'll take your stretch a little bit deeper. So again, a little bit harder way is to keep those hands away from the wall. Stack up, extend over, find that wall, press the ground away. As your hips go down, your chest needs to go forward. You can experiment with releasing a foot, releasing the other foot, to come down, release your feet, and come back to your starting position. So the next stretch that we're gonna work on is our chest stand preparatory stretches using the wall. So the chest stand is kind of a scary place to be, but it's fun and it's challenging, it's different. And this is the way I started working on my chest stand, because you can really baby step yourself into it, even if you're not ready for a full chest stand yet. So to get into this position, we wanna make sure we always look forward as we do this, and we're gonna place our chest all the way to the mat. Good, your feet should be up the wall. Keep your hands right under your shoulders for this one, so they can take the weight off your chest if they need to. Good, from here we're gonna start pressing our hips back and pressing our legs up the wall. So now I've got my pelvis off the wall, my knees up. And for some of us, this might be good right here. You can keep pressing your chest back until you kind of get into the point of the stretch where you're really feeling it intensely in your back. Breathe forward, look forward, and keep going until you feel comfortable. When you get into the deep part of the stretch and you're ready, you can start releasing your toes back towards your head. Let your knees come off the wall and start letting your chest do the balance. To come out, use your hands to lift the weight off your chest so you can scooch all the way forward and relax. Go into a child's pose to undo all the work we just did with our backs.